Nice. What field are you in?
Software engineering.
Oh, nice. I love it. That's a good gig. You just work from
Sometimes I
home.
love it. Sometimes I hate it.
Right, right. Has ChatGPT helped your field out at
I
all? Have you
I've
used that?
actually not used it at all, but I've seen some really interesting applications. So I'm interested in learning more for sure.
Yeah, I would say definitely check it out. We use it, like Angie uses it every day, multiple times a day, in just our real estate business. Like, anytime we need to write an addendum or write up some special verbiage in a contract, she'll just give like a summary and then tell ChatGPT to write this as if it was like real estate law or something. And then I do know like software engineers, right? Like, so are you coding or programming?
Yeah.
Yeah, that I'm dude, Chat GPT, I bet if you could say like write me a code in,
Yeah.
whichever language, who knows? I don't
Yeah.
know.
I mean, yeah, it could do some stuff, but like not everything.
Right, right. Yeah. I just always am curious because yeah, that stuff is
Yeah.
um
Yeah, I
it's
mean, there's
fascinating.
some boilerplate that where it's like, I want a web page that does this, and there's enough example code out there where it can, if it's consumed the internet, essentially, it could create something that might work.
Mhm.
And who knows if it would actually be effective. So, yeah,
Right.
it's interesting to know for sure. There's other stuff like he was talking. Who was it? I think it was Matt when on
Yep.
Friday, last Friday.
Hmm.
We were talking about Copilot. I don't know if anybody caught that, but Copilot has been like in the works for a while, and it's really interesting. Like it's even better at just performing like code creation than Chat GPT is. So that's pretty interesting too. I've been following that for a while.
I love it. Yeah. Yeah. I actually looked into being not a software engineer, but taking one of those boot camps. So like DU offers a coding boot camp. Um, I was considering that heavily when I was at my old construction job, because obviously I know it can be pretty lucrative and you can make probably a lot more money than working construction. So,
Well, that's
yeah,
exactly what I did. Like I was doing construction. I was digging ditches and stuff like that, and just kind of work my way up. Then I'm like, you know what? I'm tired of being outside when it's hot and cold. I want
yeah,
to not do this anymore. So went to college and did that. So,
I love it. I love it. Yeah, that's genius. Emerson, you got a question, man?
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah, I got you.
Hey, no, I don't really have a question. I just kind of want to introduce myself. This is my first time in this call. I was invited by Angie.
Love it.
Um, so my name's Emerson. I go by Tiger on all my social media. I'm currently focusing on Gator. That was my avatar. I just joined Sub 2 last month, and 2 weeks after that, I joined the Gator community. So I'm here
Nice,
if you
man.
guys need anything. Let me know if I can bring any value to you guys and how I can help.
I love it. Yeah. So you're looking to do some just short term lending.
Yeah.
It does help too. So anytime we have new Gator lenders too, like maybe tell us a little bit about how much you're looking to lend, what type of deals you're looking to lend on, kind of the time frame, so that way people know, they think of you when they have that type of specific deal in mind.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I'm very new. I haven't got a deal yet. I'm still setting up my LLC and the the credit line with PCS and all that. But
Mhm.
before that, I actually do have some business credit that I've acquired throughout several years, and I have about maybe 80 to 90,000 on some combined credit cards that I can use. I think for my first few deals, I kind of want to keep it a little low, maybe from 15 to 25,000 on a transaction. I think
I
that's
love
where I
it.
want to
Okay.
start.
Right on, man. Yeah. And I've done some gator lending in the past as well too. It's definitely a little bit more complicated than Pace might seem to promote it. Like, as far as gator lending goes too, this is probably a good topic for everyone to know because, it is kind of a thing too that, everybody who has even like $5,000 wants to be a gator lender, which the huge part that Pace doesn't talk about that goes into gator lending is really like knowing a deal. So like getting good at underwriting is really important, because you got to know that that's a good deal before you lend your money on it, you know? So in regards to, at least, like, let's say if you're going to loan money for earnest money, right? Like you want to loan a wholesaler an earnest money deposit of, you know, 1,500 to 2,500 bucks, whatever. You got to know that, you know, his terms of his deal are structured well enough to where he for sure is going to find a buyer. And then another part of it too is like, you got to be pretty well versed in a lot of contracts as well too. So I'll tell everyone I lost $1,000 doing Gator lending, because we had a wholesaler who had a property under contract in Indiana. It was just a cash deal. I thought he had it locked up low enough, but it was kind of last minute. So I did some quick market research. I was like, okay, maybe he can assign this for, you know, $10,000. So I sent my $1,000 in earnest money without like fully in-depth reading the contract. And it states in the contract clear as day that any earnest money is non-refundable. So I thought my money was protected with an inspection period. And because it was a normal Indiana state official contract, I lost that money. So, you know, no worries for that. Like, it was a good learning experience. So now anytime I'm going to do Gator lending, it's got to be on our contracts. I have to have verbiage that states that, you know, we can pull out of this deal. The seller has to pre-sign this document, so that way I don't need him to sign it. I can just pull my money back out whenever. So yeah, I would definitely say, you know, you know, before you jump into Gator lending, definitely get good at underwriting and identifying deals, whether they're cash or creative, and then seriously vet whoever you're loaning money to. Because it's definitely good to know whether that's someone's first deal or whether it's their 20th deal, you know. So but that's awesome, man. The $90,000, $80,000 in credit, that's pretty good so far. So you're definitely headed in the right direction. But yeah, nice to meet you too. And then I work with Angie, Dominic, and Joey. Me and Joey mostly run the acquisitions side of our business. So me and him primarily run the wholesale side. So we lock properties up and then wholesale them, mostly creative deals to other sub-2 students. So if you ever have questions about underwriting, or, you know, what makes a good deal, what that looks like, feel free to shoot me a text or shoot Joey a text. We all kind of do everything though. Like, there's not really one specific task I'm assigned to a day. Same thing with Angie. She's all over the place. So, but it's nice to meet you though, for sure, Emerson.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yep.
I guess a question just came up when you brought up the underwriting, because that's something
Yeah.
a little bit new to me. So if I'm doing Gator lending or just transaction, why do I need to underwrite the deal if I'm just gonna pull out at the 10-day period or whatever?
Yeah, great question. So, you know, I would say it's just not to waste your time, or even put your money at risk at all, you know. So
Okay.
like if I told you, hey, I have this property locked up for, let's just say it's cash, for $500,000 in cash, and it needs $50,000 worth of work, and I think that after repair value is $600,000, someone might see that at a blank, or at, you know, at face value, and say, okay, there's a $50,000 spread there, but they might not be taking into consideration closing costs, realtor commissions, and then who knows, you know, like it could need a new roof and then all your profit is gone. So just knowing like how much buffer a deal has, right? Like, just good to know, yeah, I guess like all of the numbers of the deal that you're inserting yourself to. Even if your money might be safe, you still just don't want to waste time,
Right.
you know, 10 days worrying about your money, you know, trying to get it back. So we always say a bad deal is worse than no deal, because you're just going to waste time and stress about it. Oh, who is that?
Got it.
Oh, just about the money, Ange. Sorry, guys. um, so yeah, I hope that helps. Does that kind of
Yeah.
make sense? Yeah, you
Yeah.
just don't want to waste time on it. So for sure. And then yeah, if you have a Gator lending opportunity in the future, feel free again to hit us up and say, hey, is this a good deal? I'm thinking about loaning this guy $5,000. Do you think I should or not? So 1 second, guys. Let me
Good.
answer this call.
I don't know who's on or who can answer this, but is there a you guys have like a Google Calendar where you have your schedule so that I can add it to mine?
Angie has Angie has the Zoom schedule. Also Rachel. Is Rachel on here?
Yeah, I'm on here. I was about to say like, so we have the Facebook group. I'll post like the Facebook group. We have all of the information like there as well. And the name of it is called Herd of Profits. So eventually we won't be doing Zoom like for like the elephant challenge, like these Zooms, like there's a new platform that like Pace and everyone's making. So eventually we won't do these Zooms, but all the information is on our Facebook group in the announcements in the discussion.
Thank you guys.
Yeah, no problem.
You're welcome.
And also because you are a new sub-2 student, like, if you give me your email, I can email you the sub-2 like calendar, and like in your Google Calendar, you can just, once you have that sub-2 calendar for all the Zooms, you can just hit the plus and like add it to your Google like calendar.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Have that.
That's what I meant. If I could have the link so I can add it to mine.
Oh,
I'll post
yeah,
my
yeah. So the links are in like the Facebook group, so then you can just add them into your Google like calendar.
Awesome. What up, Enrique? You got a question, brother? Or
Yo, what's going on, bro?
what's up, bro? How are you doing?
Good, man. Yeah, I had a couple questions. One of them you kind of covered, but I just wanted to confirm. If I ever was to work with a Gator lender, is it that I would have to make sure that the agreement isn't a non-refundable earnest money?
Yeah. Unless you're like fully prepared to have to pay that Gator lender back if the transaction falls through. Because yeah, I now knowing what happened to me, losing that $1,000, I would not loan money to a wholesaler if the earnest money was to go hard immediately, unless there was some sort of promissory note, something. I probably wouldn't do it, to be honest, because who, like, if that Gator lender can't afford, let's just say $1,000 to put the earnest money down, who's to say that if that deal falls through, that they're going to be able to pay me back $1,000? So yeah, I would say make sure all of your deals you have your earnest money protected.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, I thought so. And
Okay, and yeah, go ahead.
sorry, go ahead.
No, you're good, man.
Yeah, I'm not sure if this is considered the Morby method. I think it is, but it's it's something I heard Pace talk about, where he basically uses like a conventional loan, agrees with the seller that they're going to refund the 20%. So he's going to basically put 80% through the loan, 20% down, and then the seller's going to refund them back the 20% with second position seller financing. Is that considered the Morby method? I just want to confirm.
Yeah, that sounds like the Morby method. And then that
Okay.
seller, he gives the money back, and then we draft a second deed of trust that he seller finances, essentially.
Okay. Is there Gator lenders that will lend on that?
For sure. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's a great way to be a Gator lender, because it's very short as well too. So, it's 30 days or less. So yeah, absolutely. That's Gator lending all day. You just have to make sure that Gator lender has room to make a profit, right? So let's just call it $100,000 property, right? So let's say this lender, instead of them giving 80,000, they might give 85 or 90,000. So that way the seller can fund the rest of it back. So that way you have the extra $5,000 or $10,000 to pay towards the Gator lender.
Right. Okay. Yeah, I just wasn't sure because I know it's a bigger lump sum. So I just wanted to confirm. Okay, awesome.
Yep. Yeah, there's multiple ways a Gator can be involved. So that's one of them, a Morby method. Funding earnest money can definitely be one of them. Also, like maybe funding the down payment. So like, let's say if someone's going to do a fix and flip and they're going to get a hard money loan, again, same thing, like they might need 20% of their own money to fund the down payment of the hard money loan. So that could also be you get a Gator loan to fund that. And then once you flip your property and you make your profit, then you pay obviously your hard money loan off, you pay your Gator loan off with their profit, and then you keep the rest.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, that really helps. If anyone does that kind of thing, drop your info, or if anyone knows of anyone, definitely interested.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yep, for sure. Yeah, you got Emerson that does that. He's got 80 to 90,000 that he could loan as well too. So and then another thing too with those larger, like especially I would say if you're loaning more than probably 10 to 15,000, like if it's not earnest money you're lending, if it's something else having to do with down payments, you definitely want to get a transaction coordinator involved. So that's an extra cost associated with it, just to make sure your paperwork is perfect, right? Because unless the Gator lender themselves is a transaction coordinator and they know how to draft a promissory note, you always want to make sure you have a TC that can draft all your documents, make sure the paperwork is correct. So that's just an extra cost as well too, that
Yeah.
could be, extra money the Gator lender brings or just money you have to pay up front. It all depends.
Okay. Is there a transaction coordinator that you recommend?
For sure. So there's quite a few. So if you're a sub-2 student, so Emerson is, Caleb Christopher is probably one of the best transaction coordinators that there is in sub-2. There's also Rachel Cummings, who's a sub-2 student. Love Francis. There's a lot of TCs in sub-2. But if you're not a sub-2 student, you could probably just make a post in the creative Facebook page with Pace Morby. Like, hey, I need a TC to draft up some documents for a Gator lending transaction.
Awesome. Thank you, bro.
Yep. Right on. Emerson, did you have a question, or you were just kind of raising your hand for?
Yeah, I was just raising my
Okay.
hand saying, hey, I'm here if you
Okay.
need me as a Gator.
Okay, right on.
I put
Okay.
it in the chat, Dylan. What areas does Emerson work with?
Yeah, good question.
What areas? I guess anywhere in the United States that would accept my money, I'm guessing. So it doesn't, yeah, I don't really have a limit, I guess.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Yeah, so Sessing is in Georgia, I think. Is that right, Sessing?
No, I'm in New York.
New York. Okay, I was way off. So yeah, Sessing's in New York too. And yeah, it's also good for you to know, Emerson, that, there's like, depending on what state you're in, right? It's also good to know what states are attorney states and what states are title company states. So like Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina, I think is New York an attorney state? Assessing?
Yes, attorney
Yep.
state.
So, yep, New York's an attorney state. So it's just good to know to also, like, whether or not you're getting in touch with an attorney instead of a title company. So not the most important, but just good to start learning which states are title companies, which states are attorney companies. But also good to know, like, what states might be a lot more in closing costs. So like, we closed a deal in California a couple of weeks ago. We thought the closing costs were going to be like 3,500. They were 8,500. So we were pretty far off. So that could eat up. Like if you're doing Gator lending in California, right, and you're going to make $5,000 in profit, that $5,000 could get eaten up by closing costs as well too. So, vetting title companies and closing attorneys in these states, like, hey, what are your typical costs to close the transaction like this? Because it may be way more than what you had initially thought as well. So a lot of stuff to think about with Gator lending. Pace just says, like, give someone 1,000, make 1,000. It's not that easy sometimes.
Yeah.
But
Thank you though. Appreciate it.
For sure, of course. Right on. Yeah, I kind of wanted to keep this Zoom a little bit short since there's not that many people today. I know so Carly Grumlin, if you guys don't know her, she works really closely with Pace. She sets up all of these Zooms for not only our elephant group, but also all of the other elephant leaders and groups. Pace is now having Manifestu, which is the company that runs the sub 2 community, that, you know, like that's who you talk to when you guys join sub 2. You talk to a representative with Manifestu. So he is now transferring over, you know, Carly from taking over all the Zooms to Manifestu. So our Zooms should be a lot more organized. Everybody should be getting links to them ahead of time. They should be included in your calendar. We'll be leaving Zoom and joining this Manifestu program. And then Rachel, is there anything else that I'm missing on that?
I don't think so. That's all I am aware of. I don't know when they're going to be implementing that.
Okay. So just a heads up for you guys too. Yeah. So we'll be getting a little bit more organized. Hopefully we have more people showing up. It seems like we have kind of our regulars in here, but yeah, for you, Emerson, usually we have anywhere from 30 up to sometimes like 80 or 90 people in these Zooms every week. So just had a lot of technical issues with Zoom these past
because
few
it's
weeks.
out of the calendar now, so
Mhm.
nobody has it in their calendar, and until we get Manifesto, I think that'll change. Because
Yeah.
it won't be on Zooms anymore, it'll go through the Manifesto.
Do you know when that change is happening in?
Maybe like in a week or two.
Okay. So yeah, I don't know if does anyone else have any questions? If
I
not,
have
when are we going to do JV agreements?
yeah, a good question. So that's going to be with Rachel, and we'll have to coordinate that. That's kind of again, like a newer thing for us. Typically what we've done in the past is when we get a deal under contract together, we'll send a JV agreement. So kind of still some stuff that we're figuring out as far as that goes, JVing with baby elephants, but we definitely like to get something in writing ahead of time. So that's more Rachel's department, probably sometime next week, I'm guessing, Rachel.
Also, I wanted to remind, so I'm gonna put in the chat there, instead of the elephant challenge, we are doing an AI challenge with Pace and Jamil. So that's in replace of it, and it starts March 30th to April 1st.
So it's not the elephant challenge now, it's an AI challenge. Okay. So everyone is aware.
Good question too. Chris asks, will non-substitute students have access to the new Manifestu system? I assume so.
I would assume. We will
Yeah.
also get that information because it's like we are doing these Zooms like now. Anyone can have like these Zoom links, so I wouldn't see why not.
Yeah, that's
That
my
was
guess
my
too,
question,
Chris,
too.
is why not? Okay. That
Do
was
we have
Jennifer.
to register for them?
Yeah, you gotta register from that link.
Okay.
So that just takes place of the elephant challenge. That was going to happen.
And also, like, we can update you guys with announcements on our Facebook group page. So if you join our Facebook group page, we'll be putting all these announcements and everything in there as well. So if you've got questions, you can always ask us on our Facebook page as well.
Yeah, and Rachel posted that in the chat too. Here, I'll copy and paste it. If any of you guys aren't a part of our Facebook group, just posted that link in the chat too. Make sure you guys go request to join that. It's the Herd of Profits on Facebook as well too. But so yeah, we'll definitely keep you guys updated, especially on our Facebook page as far as switching over to this Manifestu. My guess, I'm probably 95% sure that it's going to, that non-substitute students will be allowed, because that's that was the point of the Elephant Challenge, was to help people who are not sub-2 students. So I'm at 97.8% confident that non-sub-2 students will be able to join that. So, but yeah, make sure you guys are a part of our Facebook group, and we'll make sure we get you guys updates. So yeah, besides that, we plan to have our next Zoom on Friday at 10 a.m. I'm not too confident that that Zoom will take place with all these changes happening. So if you guys, again, make sure you join that Facebook group. We'll update you if we're not going to have that Zoom on Friday, or if we will have it, we'll send you that link through the Facebook page as well too. And then for you guys, if you guys would like to check out some of the old Zooms that we've done, so I'll share my screen. So Emerson, this might be good for you, man. We have done, from in the future, all of our Zooms are going to be recorded on Angie Milanazzo's YouTube channel. So this is where a few of our past recorded Zooms have been, but the majority of our Zooms have been, if you go to the creative real estate page with Pace Morby, let me see, let's close that, go to members, and then type in Angie's name in here. So Angie Milanazzo, you can see on her page a lot of our past recorded Zooms. So we've done a lot of underwriting Zooms as well, Emerson. So if you want to check any of these out, we go a little bit more in depth on how to, you know, underwrite or identify a creative deal.
Okay, yeah,
So like,
I'll
here's
definitely
one.
check it out.
Yeah. So I just know too, as a sub-2 student, there's not a whole lot of Zooms that Pace has done on underwriting. So that was one thing that I noticed when I joined the community. It was like, there's not a whole lot of, I can't like find how he does the real estate math, but like once you get it, it's easy to then like underwrite all your deals. So
Yeah, I have to go back to all the sub-2 stuff because once I found my avatar, I just shifted over to Gator real quick, and I've been on that.
for
But I'll
sure.
be getting back to it.
Right on. Okay. Well, it was good to see you guys. Again, we'll update you if Friday is a go or if we're gonna cancel that one. Keep an eye on our or on our Herd of Profits Facebook for any updates. And then, yeah, if you guys have any questions or need any help, we just want to push you guys to this Herd of Profits Facebook group. So any questions, feel free to make a post in here and we will reply to you and make sure we get your guys' questions answered. So thank you guys for showing up. We will maybe see you next Friday. We'll let you know. But good luck this week. Hope you guys crush it, make some phone calls, and we will see you guys later.